At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart, you're doing yourself. Crazy.
Listen. Did you get the memo? Did you know that it is 2021? And this is the first episode back after the holiday hiatus for hashtag observations TFR, and we have some new digs. How you like the new digs? We're on the Spot Podcast, hashtag you found the spot. And of course we have to celebrate. It's 2021. We have to say we made it over to 2021.
We made it.
Can you believe it? We made it over. We made it over. Oh, 2021, because 2020 was a bear, but here we are in 2021 with episode 68 of hashtag observations TFR on hashtag you found the spot. And of course, as usual, I have my special guest host, my sister Tonya M. Congress. How are you doing this fourth day morning in January 2021?
Glad to be here at the Spot Podcast. Glad to be alive in 2021. Ready to wreak havoc on this year. We have to get back from last year. All the things that we've been through last year was complete psychological warfare. And we are here. You're watching us today. You are here. You made it through last year. Celebrate. Well, as usual, I have my every day, I have some fruit. So I got a bowl of gala apples and ginger. I have some orange juice with turmeric here, and I also have a cup of coffee. hazelnut coffee. That's the ill part of it. But I have those three things here, so it all balances out. We're ready for a packed show today. I am confident that you've been looking at our questions of the day. We have questions for you every day. We want you to go into the spot hashtag. You found the spot on Facebook. That is where you will find the questions of the day. They are every day, thought-provoking. This year, we're coming at you 100-fold with thought-provoking programming, thought-provoking, thought-provoking, thought-provoking. Not just entertainment. It is entertaining, but it's to make you think, because Lord knows we got to think more and think better and think deeper and more thorough than we did last year. Okay?
They keep on sending them warning signs out already. Wow, they are trying to clip already. But we won't let that bother us because it's 2021. Listen, people. Of course, we have to say goodbye to some things that are going to be coming up in March. Periscope will be saying bye-bye because it's been purchased by Twitter, and everything that's on there is supposed to be in an archive for people to be able to see, right? To still be able to view who are on Periscope, but Twitter is supposed to be coming out with their own version of a platform on Twitter where you can actually record. Right now it's on invitation only, but we are looking forward to getting an invitation. So look, the Spot t-shirt, it's only 7 days left on our promotion, on our fundraising promotion. You'll see that ad within You Found the Spot on FB, right? On the You Found the Spot group page. You go there, you click it for $20, you get one of these stylish t-shirts. I don't know why this white is out. You get the stylish t-shirt, and you get to get bragging rights because you have the green version, which is the spring version. This is fall, but the reason why I wear this is because we have green screen, and the green screen just takes everything out, and it's just me and my head and my arms because the shirt is green, right? So before we go any further, Tonya.
Wait, D.
What's right? What's going on?
We also have masks.
Wait.
Have masks.
Oh, that's right. Wait. You're doing better than me this morning. There we go. That's right. We have masks. You can go right over to $ You Found the Spot, and these go for $20. You put in your name and your ship to address. We'll get it to you in 7 days. And coming soon are the snapback hats, you know what I'm saying, with the logo on it. We have the stylish. Go ahead.
Now listen, we need for y'all to go and pick up this merch and do this donation for the fundraiser. You know us. We've been doing things both together and separately for years. And so that anything that we are a part of or anything that we're heading up has a good cause. Hey, D, tell them a little bit about what the fundraiser is for.
Okay, the fundraiser is to teach children, minority children, underserved population, the behind the scenes of filmmaking. A lot of people want to be in front of the camera. But speaking of in front of the camera, what's up to Stuart Elsie? I see that he's watching us this morning. Listen, a lot of people want to be in front of the camera, but behind the camera is where the magic is made, right? The lighting, the way that you rack focus the camera, the way that your angles that you use, the lenses that you use to bring forth the image that you're trying to tell the story on, right? And the most important element of film is sound. If you have great sound, if you have pumping sound, you are pretty much a master at what you're doing. If you have low sound or it dips or it goes higher, people will walk out your film. You can have a snitty picture, but if you got that quality sound, people will say, I'll forget the picture because the sound is balanced, right? So that's what we're here to teach, the behind the scenes, and an emphasis on sound reinforcement, right? So that's what it's about. And when you go over there, you can read more. You can watch the video where we break down Topsy and Bopsy. This is the type of educational style that we use to teach the children how to create film, right? So that's it. That's pretty much in a nutshell, right? What you got to say?
We are always doing innovative and new things here, and I think that line of training is needed because it's not as many people in the field as we would want as far as American Black. So we are contributing to that cause, and we are asking for your help in doing so. $20. That's a spit in the bucket in comparison to going to buy some True Religion jeans or things such as that we don't even question when we want them, right? So at least you know your money is it's an investment, all right?
And I must say this right here, right? We've even offered out to MCs who have their new music. Get on here. We will bring you on the show and interview you for the $20. That is a penance to get cross-marketing across the globe in the markets that we hit so that your music can be seen, heard, recognized, and appreciated. We've also offered it out to actors, etc., 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 etc. Right? So we say, get your shirt in green because they changed, because we have royal purple for the summer, and in the fall winter it is the traditional black with the white lettering, right? So we want to say that and get going. So let's get started with what we're doing. Smash the share button, smash the like button, because we are going someplace today. Happy New Year to everyone, 2021. So let's get started here. Let's open up with this meme. You know where we go first. We go to the memes. I don't know why they're clipping us. They're clipping us. They don't even know where I'm going first. Where we're going first with this. All right. So we start right here. This was an interesting meme. And I said we should start here. Smash the share button, smash the like button. Let people know that we are on. Make sure that you subscribe to the Film Review Live channel and the Spot channel on hashtag you found the spot on YouTube, right? So let's bring this up. So this is the first one. Don't minimize who you are to maximize who they are. Say this again. Don't minimize who you are to maximize who they are. Smash the share button, smash the like button, because we are going places today. What do you have to say to that real quick?
Absolutely true. And anytime you're around the wrong set of people, I don't care who it is and what level of relationship it is, you're around the wrong set of people. Yes, check out the Spot mug there. Look at that. Look at that. For beer drinkers, you have that. Any cold beverages, warm beverages. Excellent, excellent merch. So when you need a mug, come find it at the Spot. Hashtag you found the spot. Yeah, but don't minimize who you are to maximize who they are. You know you're in the wrong company. I don't care if it's family, so-called friends, acquaintances, business associates. You know you're in the wrong company when you have to dumb yourself down, when you have to dim your own light, when you have to tone down your personality in order to accommodate them because they're insecure and undone and got areas that need to be healed they haven't tended to, which was all on their own dime and their own time. They should be doing that and not trying to minimize everyone else. So keep that in mind. Keep your spirits high this year and stay away from low-level people, low-thinking people, just people who have a low thought process. They don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to do anything. They just want to sit on the back porch and drink a pitcher of lemonade and never go anywhere. Okay?
What's wrong with sitting in the back porch and chewing on my tobacco and anyway, being barefoot? But anyway,
as long as it's not every day, all day, it's nothing.
Right. So get ready to give the question of the day next, Tonya. This next one is very interesting. I saw this and I said, this is thought-provoking, right? Okay. So this is the image, and I'm going to bring it closer for people to see, right? Let me move this over and bring this down. Now, so the caption reads, it says, fellas, you about to a chick. She takes her shirt off and you see this. What would you do? This is the centaur with the 666. It is the image of Shaitan, the devil. What would you do? Fellas, what would you do if you saw this image? Because you see over here, the young lady is taking a picture, right? We don't know if that is actually, true indeed, but if they just put that there, but this right here is the close-up image of what you see. So what would you do, fellas? The thing I say is, hey, you're out there fornicating, so why not? Let that sit for a minute. You're out there fornicating. Why not? Hey, whatever is clever, whatever is clever, hey. You see it. What does that have to do with you? Boy, they trying to clip. Boy, they do more clipping than a little bit. Boy, they do more clipping than people are clipping coupons to go to the store with. I'm telling you. All right. So this, as we've always told you, my wife and I, we originally born, reared, and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, and I saw this meme, and I thought that it was informative to what Cleveland is. Now, the person who writes this, oftentimes Cleveland people try to downplay many times what's actually happening in Cleveland. So they will say rules to surviving in Cleveland. Then they said any hood and any hood, as an afterthought, not to just make it about Cleveland and make Cleveland seem like it's so unruly, but you can say any city. Okay. Rules to survive by, to live by. Number 1, don't sit in your cars kicking it. All right? Don't sit in your cars kicking it. Meaning, don't sit in your cars, you're listening to music, you're just kicking it, you're parked somewhere, you're not about getting to your destination and back to where you're going. That is a no-no. Number 2, get everything you need and get to your destination. Number 2, see? Number 3, keep your eyes and ears open. Explanation point. Watch your surroundings instead of running your mouth. Number 3, again, keep your eyes and ears open! Explanation point. Watch your surroundings instead of running your mouth. And they are clipping us this morning. Boy, I tell you, this is interesting. Number 4, know who you're hanging with and what they're up to, what they are about. Number 4 is one of the most important pieces to this puzzle. It is one of the most important pieces to this instruction here. Know who you're hanging with and what they're up to, right? Number 5, Google numbers, order your food ahead of time. Don't sit in local spots. Don't sit in local spots waiting for the food to get ready. This is in Cleveland now. Do not wait in local spots. This is not the time to wait in local spots for the food like we used to. It used to be something where, it would be brotherhood, sisterhood, camaraderie. You knew the owner. You were sitting there, play the jukebox. I'm thinking of Hot Sauce Williams in particular on Lee Road. And you would sit there and you would wait for your food, listen to the jukebox, listen to music, talk to the owner, talk to people, But this is not the time to sit there. Get your order and go. Get your order and go. Number 6, track the bus if you have to ride. Track the bus if you have to ride. In other words, track where the bus is going, right? Track the bus if you have to ride it. That bus stop stuff is dead. Also, if it does not look safe, always walk a block up from the bus stop. All sound reasoned things to do, right? So track the bus. Know when it's there so that you can be walking right up to get in line to get onto the bus, right? That bus stop's just sitting at the bus stop like a sitting duck is Tonya. Tell your story. This is important. This is interesting, right? This had to do with spiritual warfare, but matter of fact, preface it with the beginning of the story and then get to the bus stop about how desolate it was and how unusually naked the streets were. So tell that story real quick. This goes along with number 6, people.
The story goes, I'm going to give you the condensed version. I was in a church that was located right at about Lee and Mayfield. And prior to this particular morning that I was going to work on the bus, I had an encounter with a lady who had showed up to the church. And she basically, in short, was a practitioner of witchcraft because she was cutting herself, digging her nail in her own middle finger with her thumbnail and cutting herself and going around and touching people. So those who knew me from that time, I always handled that element of people that was coming into the church environment, witches, mentally ill people that were being used and stirred up by witches, demons, things like that. That was my MO, all right? So I went and I commanded her to stop, and I stayed on her trail until she stopped, and then I told her she was either going to have to cut out her activities, she was going to have to leave. So she sat down for a little while, and she was very agitated, clearly, because I was sitting right behind her. I was on her like a hawk. So she got up and left. So a couple of weeks later, I had to catch 2 buses to work. So I had to catch one called the 40 that was coming from St. Clair Superior Way. And then I had to connect with the 7 that was going out to Mayfield Village. All right. And so this particular morning was very weird because Lee and Mayfield is a highly traveled area. And it was 5 o'clock in the morning, but still it's usually a highly traveled area or moderately traveled about that time of morning. But this morning, it was absolutely dead. There were no cars coming from either direction for a good 20 minutes, which was very, very odd, very weird. And so I'm sitting at the bus stop, and who walks up but this woman? Now, you had to, just to give you a visual, she had a very uneven mixed gray afro, and she was a very dark skin, which, you know, dark skin is beautiful. That's not the point, but the point is she was dusty dark. Usually when you see people who are dusty dark, they have some other kind of wicked spirit on them that caused them to have that dusty cast on their skin. So I'm sitting there, and she walks up and she says, "Do you know what time it is?" With that mocking kind of low voice. And so I look at her, I'm like, she got the wrong one this morning. I look at her, I say, "Well, do you know what time it is?" And so she just stood there looking at me. So then she came and sat down in the bus stop, and I get up. And I'm standing now on the sidewalk, but I'm just a few feet from her. And so she does this thing like a cat. Like, you know, how cats are getting ready, they hunch their back and they're getting ready to attack. So she does this to me. She does that. And so now by this time, I'm silly. So by this time it's humorous, but I'm not laughing, but it's humorous to me. So all I did is I just began to sing. I started going into worship and worshiping God and just singing. And the more I sang, the more she clammed up and she pushed herself to the inner part of the bus stop and pushed herself against the walls of the bus stop, and she didn't move. And I thought she was going to get on the bus. She didn't get on the bus. And when I got ready to get on, I said, "So that's what time it is. Now you know."
Right. You see? Now, so when you say worship, what do you mean for the lay person who may not know what you mean? Like, what is worship, and what would be a song, you know, about 2 bars or so of a song that would be worship, the song that you decided that you would sing?
I can't remember exactly which song I sang, but I'll just give a example. When you begin to lift your hands, you're giving glory to a higher power. You're giving glory to God, my God. So I sang something to the liking of, "Send down the rain, send down your rain, let the shower of your spirit drench my soul, oh Lord, send the rain." And so then you go into, you know, some other kind of ad-libbing where you're giving obeisance or just worshiping and saying, "God, I thank you. I thank you for your presence. I thank you for your strength. I thank you for your power. I thank you for your word. I thank you for all authority over all the power of the enemy." So you doing that in between, you're decreeing and declaring in between singing worship to God. So that's what worship was in that case.
That is what worship was. So that goes into number 6, people. Track the bus if you have to ride it. That bus stop stuff is dead, because you never know what you might encounter at the bus stop. Stuart Elsey says, "Hit it from the back, hit it from the back." He said, "I'm just kidding. Leave her alone. You could end up a sacrifice." Speaking of the woman with the 666 tattoo and the devil, yeah, all that on her. Yeah. So leave her alone. So number 7, don't be listening to your headphones. You gotta hear stuff. Don't be listening to your earphones when you're in Cleveland, Ohio. You got to walking down the street. Maybe one day, I never did that. I remember one time I was driving and I looked over and I saw someone, and they had headphones on, listening to whatever they were listening to. I guess they didn't have a radio in the car, and they were listening to headsets, but they're driving. How responsible, irresponsible
That's
is
true.
that? But you're walking down the street in the middle of this chaos, the mass confusion. You should not have headsets on. You have to be able to hear stuff. And number 8, don't sit and watch when people are getting, it cuts off, but I can fill it in. Don't sit and watch when people are getting into the BS. Keep it moving. That's right. Keep it moving. Don't stop, because 2x4s, they don't have a name. Neither do bullets. Bullets don't have a name. Keep it moving. Be about your business, and the greater business of Cleveland, Ohio is, I'm just out the way. I'm just out the way, just doing my thing out the way. Now, here's an interesting photo right here. This is an interesting photo, and it is of a pastor. Let me bring it up. Do we see this right here? Do we see this? The pastor. She has her collar. A minister. She has her collar. She has her attire on. She has the good book, which is usually the peacemaker, but then she has a peacemaker. How about that? What does that say about this time that we're in? The type of memes that are going across the internet now, right? That are pushing and stressing violence, right? And oftentimes when you see this, it is often pushed and moved towards the fact that it will be your own kind that you will be violent towards. We have to be careful about the suggestions that we are getting. If you hadn't noticed, people, on hashtag observations TFR, we observe things. We observe. And you have to be careful about what you are taking into your eye gate, your ear gate, your mouth gate, because it can lead you to do things. It's never the other, it is always your brother. And that is not true. What would you like to say to this?
Unfortunately, until we as a collective people begin to rethink and revamp our mindset concerning certain things, we keep letting ourselves be programmed by the things that are constantly put before us. So now in this situation right here, it's always been pistol packing preachers. There's always been that. In fact, our neighbor that I grew up next to, he certifies for CCW. He's licensed to certify. So, of which I'm halfway through the course, by the way. So it is necessary. I don't expect in this case, I have mixed feelings on it. In this case, I can't expect everybody to be like me. Everybody's of different levels of faith. Everybody has had different experiences. So I can't expect somebody to, I've stood down people with guns that were threatening towards me. So I don't have a fear of that element. I don't have the normal fears, which is strange, but I just don't. However, I would suggest that if you're of the faith and you don't have, now look, I'm just going to call it like it is. If you don't have power in that area and you don't have faith in that area enough that your words, that your word, your command, that you can't command that demonic spirit and that person is challenging you by gunfire, speculative gunfire, if you don't have the faith to challenge that and stand that down, I would suggest that you conceal and carry, have it with you all the time. I would suggest that. I'm having a hard time getting through the court. I completed the written part of it. I haven't gotten to the shooting part of it because, to be honest with you, I really don't need it. But I just happen to like guns, though. I like gun shooting as a sport. I like shooting as a sport, like going to the range and stuff like that. I like that as a sport. And the speculation to doing that, I would like to do that as a sport. But I doubt very seriously if I would ever need to use that on anybody. So that's just me.
What's going on to TC Congress chiming in? He says, what's going on? Miss Ash says, always be alert, always, right? So look, I'm perplexed by that because, like you said, there's always, if you haven't seen that film Buck and the Preacher, the preacher had his peacemaker inside his Bible when it came time to put it down, but he was going against the oppressor and not your brother. So we have to keep that in mind. Let's go on to the next piece right here. Now, this is another meme from Cleveland. Only in Cleveland will our local gas station support your cause to live to see another day. Only in Cleveland will our local gas station support your cause to live to see another day. And why does the meme say that? Well, you have to look down in the lower third of the image, right? And the lower third of the image reads, for your safety, have your gun in your hand while visiting this gas station. For your safety, have your gun in your hand while visiting this gas station. If this is not the wow Midwest happening right now in Cleveland, Ohio, you would say, oh man, it's going down and it's no real safe place, right? So all of these memes are in a psychology of taking care of yourself while they're trying to clip us. Did you hear those clips? Back to perfect streaming. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So here's a question for all the faithful out there, right? Whatever religion you believe in, whatever spirituality you believe in, if you're Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Book of Mormon, Jewish, your pastor, your rabbi, etc., says, don't run, have faith, and nothing will happen to you. Reply as a church, synagogue, mosque member. Now, what's in the image is the person is getting ready to be baptized, but here comes an anaconda. For those who don't know, an anaconda is a snake that can suffocate you and swallow you whole. The pastor, rabbi, says, don't run, have faith. What would you have to say about that?
I'm going to say, I don't feel like tempting fate in that area. That's what I'm going to say. I had a situation where it was Wild Kingdom one time. I was on my way to work. All these on my way to works. But I saw I crossed paths with a herd of deer. I crossed paths with attacking geese. skunks, and a red fox, all down the same road, walking to work after I got off the bus. It was during that same time period I met up with that woman there. But there are some things that, like, I've had tests with the animals. I have some miraculous stories to tell about how animals have responded to my command. That one, this is just me. I don't feel like testing that. I don't feel like it. More than likely because I have faith, because I've dealt with different animals that could attack me, and it went in my favor. But for that, I don't feel like testing that. We can baptize later. Is it that deep that we just got to baptize right now? So you have to weigh your options. I mean, do you want to battle that in its habitat because you're there in its habitat? Or, I mean, to each his own, but for me, I'm not testing that one. I'm not doing it.
Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen the movie I Am Legend, right? With Will Smith, right? Now, when this first kicked off, right, when this whole, we can't even say the words because they have copywritten those words. And so that's why you get dinged every time you write it. If you write it in a post or you write it in a meme, you get dinged. So it's best to say, are you going to take the experimental agent? Because that's what this show is about today, right? Are you going to take the experimental agent? So these memes are getting closer to the purpose of the show. Smash the share button, smash the like button, because we have returned with episode 68 after the holiday hiatus, and we are taking you on this journey. We are now beginning to open into where we are going today. Remember in the movie I Am Legend. Now, like I said, we reviewed that along with the flesh, the man, the flesh, and the world, which was Hera Belafonte's film, right? Which is off the same book that came out in the 60s, which is I Am Legend, and then Will Smith did it later. Now, do you remember the opening of I Am Legend as they give you context to where you're at in the modern time? They give you a flashback to give you context, right? And when you look at it, the actress that played the woman who was talking about this, it was supposed to be I can't say the word because they got it, it was supposed to be an agent, an experimental agent, an experimental agent that was to cure cancer, right? That's what it was. And when you looked at the woman who was the actress, now this is back in 1998. The actress looks just like the Burks woman today. I don't know if they were fashioning her after Burks, because Burks had been in South Africa working on HIV/AIDS in South Africa. I don't know why there's a lot of Europeans in South Africa working on HIV/AIDS. Anyway, just like there's a strain of the virus that's coming from South Africa, but no South Africans are catching it. Anyway, let's stay on task. You got to have a little levity. You have to have a little comedy, because they're gonna pump you full of fear. So when you open up, watch I Am Legend, because we went through a whole month of going through and reviewing films that would help you survive can I say that word? Did they copyright that? Quarantine. Are they gonna clip me? Right. So anyway, remember in the movie I Am Legend, it wasn't the sickness that made them zombies. It was the experimental agent. Remember in the movie, they're trying to clip us. Remember in the movie I Am Legend, it wasn't the sickness that made them zombies. It was the experimental agent. So, seeing this word, you know that we're substituting experimental agent for this word, right? So, the question for today's show is, are you taking the experimental agent, yes or no, and why? And they are trying to clip us out this atmosphere right now. They want us off. They want us off the stream. They want us off the stream. This is amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. Remember, in the movie I Am Legend, it wasn't the sickness that made them zombies. It was the experimental agent. We're going to talk more about the experimental agent tomorrow with this Bell's palsy. But that's for tomorrow, right? Right now, we're asking you, are you going to take the experimental agent, yes or no, and why? And we have some answers to the question that came from off of You Found the Spot and other places where we promoted this. Now, just think about this real quick. I want you to, if you are in fear, to not answer the question because you think that Big Brother is watching. Listen, Big Brother is watching you anyway.
Come on.
Big Brother is watching
Anyhow.
you anyway. And most likely, if you are in fear to answer the question, most likely you're going to take the experimental agent. Does anybody know what Bell's palsy is? Does anyone know what Bell's palsy is? So let's go through real quick, Tonya. Let's go through some of the answers that we got. You said, I know. I'm going to start with you. You said that it's L no, and L would have to freeze over first, and you were going to give your explanation why on the show. Let's start with you, brave one.
I said L no. Hell would freeze over and thaw out again 2 times before that would happen. So you know that's not going to happen, right? So, and this is why. Just on without doing an in-depth research on it yet, just the fact that I hear, see, my mind is always thinking past what's being presented, right? So you tell me that one of the ingredients in it is fetal tissue, but you didn't bother to define whether it was human fetal tissue. See, here's the insult to the intelligence. They say, well, people are going to assume it's human because human can only mix with human. That's not so. As you know, y'all been experimenting with stuff for years, right? Let's talk about Area 51. Not today, though. So you've been experimenting with stuff already. And so because there's also talk of changing our DNA as human beings, how's that going to happen? How's that going to happen if you don't insert the bloodline of another species? How's that going to happen if you don't insert the tissue, stem cells of another species into human beings? How are you going to change their DNA? And the other thing is, this runs congruent and consistent with the fact that 5G technology without going too deep into it, because it's radiation. It's going to serve to accelerate whatever is injected into us. It's going to accelerate the effects of that, right? By that warming, that radiation agent. So no, ain't no way for me. I'm not doing it, because I already know it's some subspecies that's outside of humanity that's doing that. And then when you ran the clinicals on the animals, you killed the rats. Now, rats are usually, I guess for some reason, they're however they're made up and whatever they're composed of, you test lab rats, and that closely relates to being able to be ingestible by human beings. I don't understand that one either, but okay. That's what they've been doing for years. And the rats die. So if most things that rats survive from is then passed by our government or governments across the world to use on humans, and the rats die, so the humans are going to die. If they don't die, it's going to be such an effect on their mental power that they will be as zombies, unhealthy, dependent on subsidies, dependent on public assistance, dependent not being able to work, dependent, no unemployment, disability. Have you thought about that? They already don't make much of an allowance for disability now. How are they going to take care of people that they made disabled? You know, you get SSI too, mental SSI checks. So right now, those are running about $600 a month for people. And then you can't work. You can't. Okay, so if you get $600 a month for SSI or whatever, you can't make more than $600 a month extra to supplement that. So you're capped out at a monthly income of $1,200 a month. Some of your rent is $800, $400.
You see, smash the share button, smash the like button, because we are going somewhere today. We're talking about practical situations, right? Practical situations about, make sure you get you some coconut water. Yes. Some practical.
I have Bell's palsy up too.
Right. So, practical application and practical situations that are happening that will cause you to lose your livelihood, right? You lose your ability to move freely, right? Now, tomorrow we're going to be showing images of, you have to tune in because we're going to show you images of, they want to clip us off on this, and all we're not doing conspiracy theory, though some people, for whatever reason, would say, oh, that's just conspiracy theory. But we just showed you the practical application of what would happen. Do you know, some people say, well, it's pseudoscience not to believe in vaccines. Well, you know where the term pseudoscience came from? You have to start listening to Tariq Nasheed. He comes at it from a different way than the way we do at hashtag Observations TFR and hashtag TFR Podcast Live on hashtag You Found the Spot Podcast, right? He comes from a different aspect of it than we do, right? But on his program, he broke down that Rockefeller, JD, wanted to put petroleum oil in medicines. He wanted to get into pharmaceuticals. Now you can look this up because he just says, just go look it up and it's right there on the internet. He wanted to get into pharmaceuticals and he wanted to put his, petroleum, if you look at it, petroleum is in everything. When you use Vaseline, what is that? That's
Petroleum jelly.
When you use grease to pomade your hair, what's in that? Petroleum. Unless you're doing something natural, right? So to make his dominance expand, not only in cars and oil, etc., he wanted to put the petroleum and develop pharmaceuticals. Now, pharmaceuticals originally had, I'm just going to use the word petroleum to say less, to keep it simple, but it had petroleum in it. When you look at the capsules, what are the capsules made out of that degrade? Unless they're made out of something like, if it's fish oil, they may have something that's plant-based. But for the most part, the capsule is made out of petroleum. Okay. So at the same time, oh, see, they are clipping, they are trying to see. That's how you know when you're saying what is true indeed. They will start to clip at you, right? So look. At the same time, before he came out with pharmaceuticals, people were into holistic medicine. They used the herbs, they used plant-based things, right? So he had to come up with a term, and you can look this up. He had to come up with a term to make people turn away from the holistic and turn towards the pharmaceutical so he could make more money. So he came up with the term pseudoscience. He came up with the term pseudoscience. Pseudoscience means that it's not real, it's not really science-based. So you shouldn't be over here taking these herbs and unless you're doing 7 herbs and spices at Kentucky, put Colonel Sanders back in the box and bury him. Unless you're eating there, Other than that, you just have to have levity. I'm just saying, this is real serious business. Other than that, it's pseudoscience and you shouldn't be doing it. And any American black person that uses, first of all, Rockefeller was a millionaire, which means that he would be a billionaire, a trillionaire, a gazillionaire by today's standards today. For you to use and go along with the term pseudoscience, and it was created by a millionaire, billionaire, gazillionaire in today's standards, you are turning exactly against yourself, and you are, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to spell it, U-C-O-O-N. I'm being nice to you. We're in 2021. Okay? We're in 2021. Why would we turn against our own and I know some people who kick the so-called pseudoscience thing, and they are no close to being a millionaire, billionaire, gazillionaire, and never in their lifetime will they be. So why would we, if we as a people go against our own best interest on this, RCOONS. Let's be clear, right? So, pseudoscience, that's where that comes from. That comes from a man who wanted to, now here's the kicker. Pseudoscience kicked up even more because after the pharmaceuticals came out and people started taking it, they started developing that other word. I'm going to spell it out so they don't clip us. CANCE. C-E-R. C-A-N-C-E-R. The big C-A-N-C-E-R after taking his pharmaceuticals. So then Pseudo, the heat coin, stepped up because he said, we have herbs and we have this natural flowers. We can go back plant-based to get over this cancer thing. No one seemed to know where it came from because the pharmaceuticals are good for you, right? So what did Rockefeller do? He formed the Cancer Society. It started raising money to solve cancer. Remember, in the movie I Am Legend, it wasn't the sickness that made them zombies. It was the experimental agent. This is serious business that we're talking now. And the same propaganda using the media to push something is the same way that he pushed the pharmaceuticals and said to anyone else coming up with hydrochloroquine or saying they clipped us on hydrochloroquine, or you need your vitamin D deficient, or you need to add more plant-based in your diet and get from eating the dead carcasses that carry viruses. Well, then you're just practicing pseudoscience. Get out of here. Take more of these pharmaceuticals that allegedly give you cancer because the little capsules are made out of petroleum and this is serious business that we're living in. This is everything that you ever read about or ever thought that you had heard or through the grapevine. We used to value our grapevine, but now they say, oh, that's just pseudo, that's just lies, or that's conspiracy theories. Now, what did the term, you see how things keep reciprocating. It worked once, let's try it again. It worked twice, let's try it again. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Try to fool me a third time, we got a problem, partner. Right? So you see how things work, and let's try it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Where does the term conspiracy theory come from, Tonya?
Initially, this was a term that was coined by the CIA, and it was meant to put forth a type of shame to people who thought outside the box. Whenever you would question the status quo, everything that was being gone along with, and you would question it, or not just question it, sometimes you would have insight into it, though not have physical proof, but just have an insight into it. They're like, well, you don't have any proof, so this is just a conspiracy theory. So you're theorizing that there's a conspiracy against you. But now this is what happens with this. Now this term was coined a long time ago, and it's been used so much, and so much crap has been done. We understand now that it's no longer just a theory, that things are factual. And whether, as far as I'm concerned, I might not be able to necessarily convince, or you may not necessarily subscribe to what I have to say on a particular subject. However, I'm going to go by what I believe it is. Okay, you can call it a theory, you can call it conspiracy theory, or but because it came into my spirit and into my mind gate here, it's telling me something. So I'm going to go with what I'm being told in my own spirit about a particular thing. I don't care what I'm labeled as. And, it seems to be a trend here. So now, just as Rockefeller, now we got our own Rockefeller. We got Bill Gates. Bill Gates, when did he become the foremost authority on medicine because he got money that gives him a right to and inserting himself into medicine that he and his family don't partake of. His children don't get vaccinated. So now you're promoting something that you don't even partake of. You might have stock in it, but you don't participate. So what does that tell us? And we have a bad trend. Last year's trend, we know what that was. You listen to episodes 1 through 67. You know what our trend was last year as American Black people. So what's our trend going to be this year in not researching the information and blowing stuff off and just going with what the media is telling you? You going to do it again? You twice raped then.
The phone lines are open, 213-943-3358, 213-943-3358. Are you going to take the experimental agent, yes or no, and why? If you cannot answer that question, then you most likely are going to, and you're in fear of answering the question, most likely you're going to take the vaccine. Oh, excuse me, God, they're going to clip me. The experimental, that was a Freudian slip right there. Let me wink.
Agent.
Right, the experimental agent. Remember in the movie I Am Legend, it wasn't the sickness that made zombies. It was the experimental agent, right? Well, we have just disseminated a lot of information that you can go do your own research and check up on. No, at least have your eyes wide open when you walk into the room to sit down there and take that half and then come back for the other half. Now, if there's been some people who have had allergic reactions to the first half, but they said the second half was supposed to be the more virulent half where you would catch it. So if people are catching a bad response from the first half, do you have stock in what could possibly harm you or help you or harm you, most likely harm you? On Wednesday, so on Stock Wednesdays, we talk about stocks, about investing in things that could help or harm you, but you should have it in your portfolio because you're spending money on it or you believe in it, and if it could harm you, you should have stock in it. Boy, they are clipping us. If we were talking about shake your booty, yeah, watch this, no clip on this. Shake your booty, girl. Come on, drop it down to the floor. Bring it back up. No clip. Anyway, Miss Ash responded to the question. They're clipping. No, I will not be taking the agent of control and death. She coined a new phrase. She said, the agent of control and death. No, I will not be taking the agent of control and death. My reason why is simple. Number one, because because said no, and two, after researching and watching videos and my own experience with things of this nature, it is a definite no.
Notice she said after researching. This is the first time I've caught anybody researching since we've been talking about researching on the show. You may have gotten some feedback on it from prior shows or whatever, but she researched. And based on her research, it's a definite no. So that means there were some definite factors that came up in her research that warranted her saying no. And I also have a couple here that responded. Jacqueline Little said, no, it's experimental. Yesterday, I read that in animals that were vaccinated, they became ill and some died after being exposed to a new virus, including the common cold. And this is why experimental agents for COVIDs, which have been around for years, have never been approved. I will take my vitamins and minerals and pray for supernatural immunity. Basically, taking your chances that way. Over the years, I think at 36 was the first time I was diagnosed with something, and they tried to tell me it was diabetes. And I started out being very involved in my care. I told the doctor I would take the metformin, that's the common, or glucophage, that's the common diabetes medication that's prescribed for type 2 diabetes. Mine was not such a case that I required insulin, but I told her, I said, well, this is what we'll do. See, this is how I talk to the doctors. I said, this is what we'll do. What we'll do is I will take half the dose of that to regulate my sugar levels, and I'm not going to become dependent. So I don't want to take full doses that I will have to wean myself off of and do further damage, because that stuff does do further damage when you go to quit, right? All the medications do. So I said, well, I'm going to take half the dose. The doctor, she was a real pixie cutie Barbie doll, Caucasian woman. She threw her hands up in the air and told her nurse as she walked out, I can't treat her. I found that humorous. I'm like, okay. So I went on and I began managing that with diet. And I've done it solely with diet. Now, over the years, I've been diagnosed with other things. And at one point in time, to manage all of these things, from high blood pressure to congestive heart failure to all these things they were dumping on me, I was up to about maybe 8 or 9 medications I had to take daily. And I had promised myself I would never do that, because I seen family members, grandmother of an in-law, taking 11, 12 meds a day is sitting on the table. And each one of those have a side effect. They're not designed to cure you. They're designed to just be prolong the inevitable, keep you alive a little longer. But when you get to the end, the kidneys is busted, the liver is busted, everything is messed up because of these drugs. I said, you know what? I stand a 50-50 chance. They are practitioners of medicine. I'm practicing too. And because my care means more to me than it does to them, this is 50-50. I can practice medicine too. So that's exactly what I do. We are not medical professionals. We're not suggesting that anybody stop their medications or whatever. That's between you, God, and the doctors, and however you decide. However, that was my decision. I said that to bring it back around to this. You have this, and the fear that they're invoking to have you take this, you have to know that it's about something else other than saving your life. That has become such a thing that, especially when you start talking about mandatory, whenever you tell me something is mandatory, or it's possible to become mandatory, you're telling me something else is involved here other than saving my life. This is about what you're trying to do. And I'm not on it. I'm not going to be a willing participant. I'm not going to be agreeable. I'm not going to be able to be a very hard nut to crack. You can't crack this nut. It's surrounded in cement and steel. You ain't going to be able to do it. Okay? So we have Linus here. Linus says, he said no with 3 exclamation points. He said, I ain't taking the vaccination. LOL. I know he means that too because I know him. TC had already said no because his name is not Guinea Pig. That's his no. I have Wendy. Wendy said, no, I'm not taking it. I do not trust it. They have experimented on our people for hundreds of years. Enough is enough. Did y'all hear that? She said they have experimented on our people for hundreds of years. Enough is enough. In my lifetime, I know there was something in that cheese and butter that came up 30 years later. Whenever you see a billboard when they're promoting a certain, first it was pork, the other white meat. When it's already determined that pork is bad for you, then next thing you're seeing is a billboard full of green beans. So now you didn't put stuff in the green beans. Do you know how much it costs to advertise on those billboards? That you riding down the highway, you see something on a billboard, you riding down the street, it's at least $600 a month or something like that on those billboards, and they're paying for a green bean campaign. What's in the green bean? Can we wake up? So y'all gonna let them scare you into taking this experimental agent. They can't even call it we use experimental agent, but it's an agent because can it even be classified as a drug when you have the fetal matter, the fetal matter of another entity other than human in it?
213-943-3358. Take your phone calls. Want to call in on the line. Are you taking the vaccine or not? Apostle Alicia Biggers is on. She said, right. We want to say what's going on to her real fast, right? Or did they release something in the air over there? Uh-oh. Time to drink. What's going on? Uh-oh.
I took down a piece of ginger. It's burning my throat. I took it down wrong. I took that one down all the way wrong.
You took the ginger down.
Piece of ginger I took down wrong.
All right, people. So moving right along. Distraction. You know, on the internet you often find distraction with the memes. And so we have to bring distraction right now. This is a distraction. Debate time, it says. Debate time. A man is dealing with two women. One he lies to. I don't know why it's too often.
Wrong too.
And the other he is completely honest with. Which woman does he love? Feel free to put your answers there, or call up 213-943-3358. We got a lot of different questions going today. The main one is, are you taking the vaccine? Are you taking the experimental agent? Another Freudian slip right there. Are you taking the experimental agent? Yes or no? Why? And why? But here's another question. A man is dealing with two women. One he lies too often to, and the other he is completely honest with. Which woman does he love? Or feel free to type it in and we will read your answers over the air. Yes, that's right. We are very interactive here at #ObservationsTFR as they are clipping. So which one does he love? Which one does he love? Tonya, which one does he love?
More than likely the one he lies to because he doesn't want to lose her. The one he could tell anything to is down for anything. That's one way. Now, and I would say that is the way because if I think of it from the other perspective, where he's lying to the one that he doesn't love just to get her or whatever, that's really not necessary. And he's certainly not going to be honest with the one he loves about going after one he doesn't love that he's lying to. So I would lean more towards the fact that he's lying to the one that he loves, even though he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be cheating on her either, but that's not stopping him.
Well, from a man's point of view, my point of view, right? Let's see if anyone had any comments on that. From my point of view, a man is dealing with two women. One he lies too often to, and the other he is completely honest with. Which one does he love? He doesn't love either. He loves himself. He loves either. He loves neither, because he would have one, unless he's under the Aramaic, or would we say, how would we say, Abrahamic law, the Abrahamic law, where he would have a wife and he would have hand servants and concubines. Now, if he's living under that standard, he's still only loving and honoring one. But in this society, in this day, on this planet, on this earth right now, because no one has the economic ability to be Abrahamic, I'm going to say he loves neither. He's out for himself. Moving on right along. This one comes from Milt Kelly. He was on our show. He is a peer counselor at Metro Health in Brooklyn, New York, right? And he says on this meme, watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become actions. Watch your actions, for they become habits. Watch your habits, for they become character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. Those are heavy words from Milt, right? That's a great observation on his part, and that's why I brought it up to show. Let's keep going. Now, notice we talked about how the internet is pushing weaponry during this time of potential Holocaust. But at the same time, there's another segment on the web that is pushing mind and thought before action, such as this meme right here. And we have to be careful to heed words. Of course, protect yourself, but be prepared to protect yourself from those who have shown themselves continuously to be your enemy. That's the one thing that we haven't done. Now, let's keep moving. Now, here's another one from Milton Kelly. I call him Milt Kelly for short. There's always consequences to your actions. Before you act, make sure you're prepared for them. There's always consequences to your actions. Before you act, make sure you're prepared for them. That means my father used to tell me, think twice, act once. Think twice, act once. So when you first use that philosophy, you move, it appears that you move a little slow, but after you analyze, and you're able to analyze the situation, think twice on it, and come up with the answer, and then move with the answer that you have come up with through cognizant thoughts, not just emotions that would move your
Right.
action, because action is character. And whatever you do is your character, because your actions equal your character. But what did your actions come from? Did they come from cognizant thought, or did they come from sheer emotion? 11 signs you really love yourself. This is also from Milk, right? So I thought he had some mind teasers. So I decided I would read these. These are pretty good, as they're clipping us on the more cognizant thought to keep us thinking during this time, to have levity during this time, to have laughter during this time. Did you know, just on a side note, did you know that Biden canceled the presidential parade? You know, where they used to get out and they wave at the people for a few minutes? He canceled that. He canceled the parade. The man is of a certain age and he is afraid. The person who wrote the article said that he might be afraid of the little fearful walk, because, you know, COVID is up there. We're going to be filled with nothing but fear, 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 fear. We're going into dark times, he said in one speech. Why does that have to be dark? Why can't it be the pale underbelly of low expectations coming from a Biden-Harris presidency? The pale underbelly. We're going into the pale underbelly of low expectations. So, 11 signs you really love yourself. This is also from Milk Jackson. Number 1, you're surrounded by loving and inspiring people. You are surrounded by loving and inspiring people. 2, you don't allow drama to penetrate your peace. These are very important notions, I will say, or concepts or ideas to put into to hear through your ear gate, to speak from your mouth gate, to take in to your third eye. Number 3, you take care of your mind, body, and spiritual being. This is 11 signs you really love yourself. Number 4, you forgive quickly and easily. Didn't say you forget, but you do forgive, because, you know, holding on to what someone did, you know, that just eats at you. It eats at you. And between the petroleum jelly allegedly inside the capsules, and that could breed cancer. Number 5, you let go of the past and know your purpose. You let go of the past because the past shaped you into your purpose. 6, you love what you see in the mirror. That is very key. That is key. When you look at yourself in the mirror, even if some of us have faces only a mother could love, when you look in the mirror and you love yourself, because you can love yourself, then you can love someone else, right? Very important there, right? Number 7, you go after what you want. You are proactive, you are up, you are energized, you are moving. You go after what you want. Number 8, you live an authentic and honest life full of gratitude. You live an authentic and honest life full of gratitude. 11 signs you really love yourself, right? Number 9, you celebrate other people's successes. This is how you know you love yourself. You celebrate other people's successes. You don't say all that. Yeah. Who she think she like that, like yesterday, because we build on shows. If you listen to and watch TFR Podcast Live, we had the mountain lion and that growly face. You have that growly face, so you have that pleasant. Yes, do that. Number 10. You are happy even when you're alone. When you're in your solitude. Matter of fact, you should listen to that song by Satchmo, Louis Armstrong. It's my solitude that thrills me. You should listen to that record. Whenever you're in solitude, whenever you're alone, you should go to your favorite place to listen to music and listen to Satchmo's It's My Solitude. Number 11. You maintain a positive outlook, expecting the best in life. You maintain. They're clipping us on that, clipping my vocal out on that. They're trying to clip on that. Because what we are seeing that is coming up now, that is going to be pumping fear, is going to be diametrically opposed to you really loving yourself. Number 11 again, you maintain a positive outlook, expecting the best in life. You don't let a leader, who is supposed to be a leader, come up and stand up on a podium stand up on a stage behind a podium with a microphone and tell you we are going into the darkest times and it's going to be dark and it's going to be dark and it's going to be dark. You tell him, hit the road. We're going to party like it's 1999 and until the elevator literally. Oh wow, they're really clipping. You hear that? They're really clipping on that. They're clipping us, people, because they don't want you to hear positive messages, right? Until we are literally on an elevator that brings us down like Prince was brought down at Paisley Park. Until the end, we are on an elevator that we don't let nobody bring down. We're going to party like it's 1999. And we're going to party, and we're going to have a good time, and we're going to keep on going. We're going to party with a purpose and get through this, and get through this evil, fear-mongering situation that we find ourselves in, right? Positive is always the key to success. If you sit there and you let things paralyze you, you will never move. Now, one of my favorite people to watch in film, and especially on Electric Company, is Morgan Freeman, right? Morgan Freeman says this, and this is very important. This is very important in what we are going into, where we are headed as they try to put us off the stream. If we were talking booty, shake a booty, come on girl, booty, boom, 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 which there's a place for that. Now I don't besmirch, or there's a place and time for that, but not all the time. Morgan Freeman, self-control is strength. Calmness is mastery. You have to get to a point where your mood doesn't shift based on the insignificant actions of someone else.
Yes.
Don't allow others to control the direction of your life. Very important. Don't allow others to control the direction of your life. Don't allow your emotions to overpower your intelligence. What have we been saying throughout the whole show? Don't allow your emotions to overpower your intellect. They want you in fear, people. You need to be armed with information. Now, wait a minute. Arguably, this is a distraction. This one was brought by James Foreman, elementary school friend of mine, a fellow neighborhood on the southeast side person. When I saw this, I said, yes, I remember these, and there were no better sandwiches than this that came in the morning. You know how you had the little tokens and you would get the morning lunch, and after a while, everybody got the free breakfast program thanks to the Panthers. It came from Oakland, and different school districts around the country picked up the free lunch program the Panthers created to be self-sustaining for their own people. So nothing was as good as this, and I still don't think so that anything will be. Do you remember this peanut butter and jelly on the graham cracker? I mean, it was nothing like, and it's still nothing like it. You cannot make that taste. I mean, you can get some graham crackers, you can get some peanut butter and some jelly, but it's some kind of special graham cracker because it's lighter in color than the regular graham cracker, right? So it's some kind of different type of graham cracker. But this right here, when that came, you would either get the continental breakfast, you would get like a donut, or you could get this, or you could get the cereal and milk. Remember the little cereal in the container? You know, it would be Frosted Flakes, you know, and you would get the milk and you would pour, or you would get which made me fall in love with honey buns, because they would have the honey bun. They wouldn't just have like glazed donuts. Like I liked glazed donuts as a kid, but it was the honey buns that they were giving, or this. And when this was there, and they said, this is what they're giving you, you would be like, there it is. There it is. That right there is. Do you remember that, Tonya? Do you remember that? Or was that, or had you moved on to higher, into the next level, into parochial school? Did you get a taste of this?
I never did. I never saw that before. Never saw it before, but it looks like it was pretty doggone good. Did they give you milk with that?
You didn't need milk with that, but I mean, you had some kind of juice. Like I would drink it with orange. I would take it with orange juice, because milk, you know, I wasn't too big on milk. I'm glad I wasn't after all, but I wasn't too big on milk. But I would have orange juice with it, right? You know, and that right there is one of the most tastiest things ever. Miss Ash said, yes, I love those, right? Tracy Latrice said, true. So that was something that came in right after Ronald Reagan released the government cheese, and you had moved into, Mom had made sure that she got you, like she did both of us, into the best schools possible, right? So by that time she had moved you to parochial school, so I don't know what kind of lunch. They had hot lunches and hot breakfasts at the program. They gave us cereal and milk and the continental breakfast and this. But this This is one of the greatest tastes. I'm gonna have to research this to see if I can't order this over Amazon and see if it still tastes the same. But question is, while they were handing this out to the children, is it something in it like it just not saying it is, but is it something in it like the government cheese? Allegedly. Or the government butter? Because you know that cheese, that government, that black cheese, that made some of the greatest grilled cheese. But anyway, as we move on. But wait, don't worry about what's in it, because according to Christianity and Christians, all you have to do is pray over it, then it's clean, and then you can eat it like this bat right here. This woman.
Listen. See, now I gotta come for my Christian people. Gotta come for y'all just real quick now. Back in Leviticus, we was told what was clean and what was unclean according to the scripture, and was not nullified when we get over to see. Y'all take one scripture. I'm gonna tell you where error comes from. Just in case, this is a laws of biblical interpretation, right? Biblical error comes from when you take one scripture and you build a whole thought process and a whole doctrine around one scripture. The scripture itself says, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every matter be established. So you at least, scripture backs up itself. So if you're going to have accuracy, then you have to have one scripture that backs up another in order to make the point and it be valid. All right. Now that right there is definitely going to fall under unclean. So when you reap the harvest off the seed of eating there's no way that can taste good. You can't tell me that tastes good, and you can't tell me that tastes good while it's looking like that either. You can't tell me that. I don't care what it is. That is demonic. To see somebody eating that, it looks demonic. There's nothing, that's their culture. No, that's demonic. I don't care whose culture it is. That's nasty. The thing is a rodent. It's a flying rodent. It's like taking a New York rat off the sidewalk and eating it.
Well, sometimes, the pig tastes good, right? I mean, the pig tasted good when we were eating it. It tasted good. It had, those from the rooter to the tutor, eating the hog maws and the chitlins and the stomach.
Once you learn, though, you change.
You eat the ham and then you eat the ears and the snout and you're eating all that, right? And then, wait a minute.
Tails?
Actually, though, the pigeon is in the same family as the bat, by what Leviticus says. So you wouldn't eat a pigeon and you wouldn't eat a crow, because, now this came from the person who posted it was what do they call that? Hebrew Israelite. So I wrote underneath, I said, that's not true. I said, by the book, Jesus came to fulfill, not to destroy. That is still an abomination by Leviticus. All right? That's still an abomination. There's certain things that you shouldn't eat, and that is one of the things. Of course, people still, scrimp and scrampies, as the southern rappers used to say, Pimp C used to say. Shrimp and scampies are bottom feeders, and you're not supposed to eat that. Lobster, you're not supposed to eat that. Crawfish, you're not supposed to eat that. Crawfish look like little roaches. And people eat that, and you know why you're not supposed to eat that. How you know that what the Bible is saying is true is because these things are high in cholesterol and it will clog up your arteries over time. And so that's how you know, besides the spiritual aspect of it, that it is true indeed, because these things are full of cholesterol. Now here's another one from James Foreman. I thought it was pretty good. It says, I'm blocking the bottom. I'm getting ready to show you. My cousin can do it cheaper. Let me make it a little smaller there so that you can see the image, so that you can get the full effect. My cousin can do it for cheaper.
Let me say something about that. See, I've seen this before. I've seen where people will try to minimize the skill level and minimize the value of a person's work. Now, that one up top, it's very detailed, even a little pause at the end. Detailed, things like that. It's excellent. It's done in excellence. Little eyeballs, everything. It's done in excellence. Bow on top. Now, that down below that right there, I don't know what that is. And it's certainly not something I would eat. It's not something I would consider eating if I whirled in somewhere and that's what I saw. And then it looks it looks dead, like it was murdered midstream, the way the eyes are positioned and everything. And people will do this. And you want to know who does this the most? You want to know who does this the most? See, y'all don't want to know. Who does this the most is us. We will not want to support one another's endeavors. We will try to lowball each other. We'll try to tell each other what we should be charging for stuff. But we won't go in. We'll go into the True Religion store. We'll go into the Saks store. We're not going to dare walk up to the counter and say, you know what? This Dooney and Bourke purse, you got a $400 price tag on this. That costs way too much. I mean, I'll pay $100 for it. It's not fair that you paying. Never mind the cost. You don't understand retail, so you don't understand cost versus cost versus retail price. You don't understand any of that. So here's a baker. They didn't did their thing. You're gonna tell them, wow, that's really nice, but I got my cousin. She bake all the time, and what she gave you was a $5 thing, as opposed to even that one up top may have been $50. It's like the difference between going to edible arrangements and trying to do edible arrangements yourself. You don't have the knives, you don't have the cutouts to cut out the fruit to make it look like flowers and things like that. You're gonna go to your cousin and they're gonna have grapes sticking on top of they're gonna have those stirring straws that you use at the bar, and they're gonna have grapes stuck on the top of those, and just gonna have cut fruit stuck on the top of it like the stem of a flower. But it's not gonna be in shape. It's not gonna be fresh. It's not gonna be delivered in a nice presentation, in a nice vase or nothing. But they did it for you for $10. And then they bought the fruit from Save-A-Lot. And so they did it for you for $10. And then the other people brought their fruit from the farmer's market and things like that. And then they cut it out and made it beautiful. But you paid $10 as opposed to a $60 arrangement. I understand the budget. I understand if you don't have the money, well, just leave that gift alone then. Just leave it alone. Don't present somebody shoddy stuff. That is hilarious.
Okay. Hot off the press on YouTube, Ken Mitchum put the crying faces, like cuckoo crying faces, and he said, so should we not eat any meat? Question mark. Let's go to, bring that up, Tonya, Leviticus chapter 11. Let's go there. Let's go through again. Let's just bring the receipt. How I know if something is true indeed, and if if it is actually what it is, Ken, is if I look at it in today's terms and I see what it does to people through science,
Yes.
breaking down through science, and if something is high in cholesterol and it can kill, then the Bible was right. Those old heads that were writing in the Bible were right, right?
Right.
Miss Ash says, looks like what my toddlers put together. The bottom one of that photo, right? So let's go to Leviticus. Let's start with number 4, chapter 11, verse 4. Nevertheless, these you shall not eat. And from there we will go forward, and it lays out what you can eat. So let's go through this real quick. I mean, since there is some meat that you can eat, Ken, and we're going to go through it real quick.
Okay, chapter 11, Leviticus chapter 11, verse 4. I'm reading out of the Amplified Version. Nevertheless, you are not to eat these among those which chew the cud or divide the hoof. The camel, because it chews the cud, but does not divide the hoof. It is ceremonially unclean to you. And the shaphan, because it chews the cud, but does not divide the hoof, it is unclean to you. And the hare, which it chews the cud, but does not divide the hoof, it is unclean to you. And the swine, because it divides the hoof and makes a split hoof, but does not chew the cud, it is unclean to you. You shall not eat their meat, nor touch their carcasses. They are unclean to you. Verse 9, these you may eat, whatever is in the water, whatever has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas and in the rivers, these you may eat. But whatever does not have fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all the teeming life in the waters, and of all the living creatures that are in the waters, they are to be considered detestable to you. They shall be hated.
Pause for a minute. So that means real simple. The bottom feeders, scrappy, lobster. Do they have fins? Do they have scales? You see, would you eat a jellyfish? Go ahead. Right. Go ahead and continue.
You may not eat their meat. You shall detest their carcasses. Everything in the water that does not have fins and scales is detestable to you. Notice how he repeated that. Verse 13, these you shall detest among the birds. They are not to be eaten, for they are hated things. The eagle and the vulture and the buzzard, the kite, every kind of falcon, every kind of raven, the ostrich, the nighthawk, the seagull, every species of hawk, the little owl and the cormorant and the great owl, the white owl, the pelican, the carrion vulture, the stork, all kinds of heron, the hoopoe, and the bat. Verse 20, all winged insects that walk on all fours are detestable to you. Yet of all winged insects that walk on all fours, you may eat those which have legs above their feet with which to leap on the ground. So that would probably be grasshoppers and locusts. Of those,
that's right. So when you have
a
locust, so women, so when you have a locust outbreak and they eat up the foliage, the food, you can eat them and still get protein. Let's keep moving.
Of these you may eat the whole species of migratory locusts, of bald locusts, of cricket, and of grasshopper. But all other winged insects which are four-footed are detestable to you. By contact with these you will become unclean. Whoever touches their carcasses become unclean until the even dusk, and whosoever picks up any of their carcasses shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. Concerning all the animals which divide the hoof but do not have a split hoof, or which do not chew the cud, they are unclean to you. Whoever touches them becomes unclean. Also, all animals that walk on their paws, among all of the animals that walk on four legs, are unclean to you. That's dogs and cats. Whoever touches their carcasses become unclean until the evening. And the one who picks up their carcasses shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. They are unclean to you.
But
These also are
let's stop right there. So go to Leviticus chapter 11 and read for yourself. If we have never read this, it's there. It gives you the blueprint. It gives you what you need to know, right? Dogs are a man's best friend. Some people have a dog licking them on the face. It's not supposed to be a clean thing. But you know, we're in this society, we're in this day, we're in what we do, right? What people do. And so, but this is laid out there for us, already given. So most of those things they talk about, they want to clip us today, and all we're doing is just disseminating information, right? Most of those things that they talk about cause or high in cholesterol, which will clog your arteries, which will cause high blood pressure and all that. If we have never read that, you have to say that your religious institution, whichever one that you go to, has failed you. Because they were eating the swine and maybe hadn't read it themselves. Let's keep going. All right, people, as we come to conclusion. Update. Allergic reactions to the Pfizer experimental agent in UK prompts warning that if you are afflicted by the first, we repeat, do not take the second half. Tomorrow we're going to show you what type of afflictions come from the virus. But today, well, not the virus, we know that, right? Ken Mitchum said, "Thanks, fam." You are more than welcome, Ken. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you. So look, as we come to conclusion, let's go here. This is something that I think the CDC took heed to. Someone put this up, and I think they took heed to it, and they're trying to fool us with placebo. So let me, just came to me and I said, hey, it seems like these people are getting some placebo. I mean, you know, first they were saying they wouldn't take it under the time of a certain president that's in right now, but now they said, you should take it, and I took mine. We must get this message out to the CDC. The experimental agent should be tested on politicians first. What have they done? They gave a placebo to the politicians. Said, just wear your mask, please. Don't kill over anytime soon. Okay? Please don't kill over. Number 2, if they survive, the experimental agent is safe. Number 3, if they don't, the country is safe. Because, you know, government for the people, by the people, they are supposed to be working on our best interest at heart. So yes, they should be taking it, and none of them, if none of them come down with anything, like we saw the nurse faint, right? And we saw other people go through different, if none of them come up with anything, you can be best guaranteed. They don't have any side effect whatsoever. They have to come and be earnest and honest about. Then you can best believe that that is and was a placebo. And that doesn't convince us anyway. Anyway, the politicians have to take it. The local politicians have to take it. The state, local, municipality, all the judges, everybody has to take this before it gets to the common people. Right? You know. Anyway, that's just a little levity there. But it's within factual truth that that's how that needs to go down. Now, before we go, you know, on the 10th of January, a new show comes to, as they're trying to, I'm like,
Transform.
Transform. I said, clipping me. Yes, thank you for giving me perfect streaming again. I like transforming. I used to do that on the turntables and in the mixer. Yeah, so I'm used to. So anyway, and clip my voice. Anyway, look, a new show is coming to the spot. Let me move it a little bit. If you think that this is clipping worthy, then you have to get ready for this one. What's the point, right? It comes on 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 p.m. Eastern on Sunday mornings. And it is hosted by Tonya M. Congress. And it begins January 10th, Sunday, January 10th on the spot on all the platforms, but it's most definitely on Blog Talk, right? So you want to go over there and get your account over Blog Talk so that you can be in the know when our programming on Blog Talk comes on. Boom, it's there. But of course, it's also going to be on Google Podcasts. So you can Google You Found the Spot and everything comes up and you're able to see when the Google Podcasts come up, right? We got a lot of different things rolling on the station right now, different film reviews and everything. But without further ado, my sister Tonya about the show. Tell us about the show real quick as they clip on.
It's going to be several hours of power pack teaching, nuts and bolts life application teaching that you may not have gotten or heard in your local churches. If you have any questions or have any topics that you would like to consider in the future besides the ones that we bring you, you can email those to what's the point 422. That's WHATS THEPOINT 422 at gmail.com. We're getting ready to set it off. With that broadcast, we got some things that we need you to know so that you can be effective and be the proof of truth in the kingdom of God. Okay.
So people, has this been or has this not been a robust episode? The first episode of 2021. 2021. Let me go right here. Where's where I'm going? 2021. That's right. Rejoice. We made it this far. We just got to get through the fear of these first couple of years, and then after that, I believe the old dude to be too feeble to do anything but shake like Parkinson's. But anyway, we got to have levity, because when people are trying to do harm to you, what do you wish on them? I wish the best, only the best, only the best, only what comes to those who would do evil to me and mine. Okay, so people, this has been a robust first episode 68 of #ObservationsTFR. The title was You Matter, Are you taking the experimental agent? We've answered those questions. We've given you some information. It's jam-packed. Tomorrow is Taste Tuesdays, and I believe that we have a guest. And we will have them shortly as they clip the heck out of me, right? So we will have that up shortly. But if not, we're going to be talking about vegan recipes, and you can bring your recipes and put them up on You Found the Spot on FB, and we will read and exchange recipes and try out these things. And of course, we don't just talk about vegan recipes. We talk about nutrition, what we do. You know, we're not practitioners of medicine, but we do practice good health practices. And so that's what we do, and we're just going to exchange ideas, right? And you do what you do. You do what you like what we said, you don't like what you said, go ahead and do you, but we bring the option to you as we go over a little bit. And what would you like to say in closing?
We thank y'all for being with us today. We really are forging a cutting edge for you to give you. We do a lot of the research for you in hopes of inspiring you to go further in your research. I think we drove the point home last year that you can't be a sitting duck out here. You're going to have to engage yourself in acquiring the knowledge to save your life and your family's life. You can't afford to just sit around and just leave things to chance. That's not the wisdom of God, my Christian people as well. You're not going to just sit around and rely on your faith. Faith has corresponding action. Faith without corresponding action is dead. The scripture itself tells you that. All right. So we're going to need to get on the ball, and we'll get ready for y'all tomorrow. We're excited. We're going to have a guest, and we're going to speak to the healthy part of life. All right.
All right. This is happening, people. They're really trying to clip us off. They don't want us talking about healthy foods. This is going against the program. It's a programming. Ken Mitchum says, keep on rocking, y'all. Keep on rocking, y'all. We are going to keep on rocking. Tracy said, great show. Happy 2021. Wow, this is crazy what they're doing, but that's okay. It's all right.
Can I say something? One more thing.
Go ahead.
One of the reasons why they don't want you to hear, one of the reasons why they keep clipping is because with the evolution of all this coming, here's another thing they would label as a conspiracy theory. They want to lock your minds in a certain place so that you're not able to comprehend what's going on when it's right in your face. And maintaining proper diet, staying informed, tuning into shows such as this one will keep your mind expanded so that you're not locked in the matrix, okay? They're trying to keep you locked there. So this is the reason for all the clipping and all of that. It's a type of censorship. So they're trying to aggravate you, trying to aggravate us. That ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
And see, look at it clipping. What did Sister Soldier say? They want to keep your mind in a constant state of aggravation. Black man and black woman, where is your army? And we shall see you tomorrow. We come on Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, on the platforms that you see us on right now. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and follow, and tag your people in the broadcast to let people know so they can watch us, right? So they can watch this, because we disseminated a lot of information on our first show back. So that's it, people. We shall see you tomorrow on Tuesday. As they clip me, as they're cutting it up, but as usual, they're cutting it up off rhythm. I'm gone.
Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe community. unity, heart, 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 heart,